Polyan on ESPN Radio said that Lamar Jackson is an exceptional athlete, check. Exceptional ability to make you miss, exceptional acceleration, exceptional instinct with the ball in his hand, and should change to becoming a wide receiver. Why? Why would you have to change to becoming a wide receiver? Because according to Bill Polian, he's too short. Need I remind you that Lamar Jackson is 6'3". 3 full inches taller than Drew Brees. That's 4 full inches taller than Russell Wilson.
Let me say this, y'all. The question is, are the Ravens getting their money's worth on Lamar Jackson?
No.
The answer is no. The answer is no.
I want my quarterbacks to be quarterbacky. And to me, Lamar Jackson's just a great athlete. He is not the MVP.
Over the last several years since Lamar's been drafted, I noticed there's nothing quite like a bad Lamar Jackson hot take. So after a tumultuous offseason where the entire NFL decided this man was not even worth pursuing, he ended up winning a negotiation battle with the Ravens and pretty much got the deal he was pushing for the whole time. And as big a win as that is, the biggest win in the whole thing was that he did it while acting as his own agent. But with his team sitting at 3-2, 2-1 in the division, after a game where his receivers dropped a total of 8 passes, 3 of which were for surefire touchdowns. Not to mention the fact that right before halftime, they flat out forgot they had the best kicker in the league. I think the center made a mistake, but they left points on the board. Between drop passes and not kicking, it was like 24 points. So because of that, Lamar ends up having to throw late in the game, ends up throwing a pick, and they lose by 1 score. But people who didn't watch the game and only saw the late pick saw this as an opportunity to jump on Lamar. First Take had the nerve to not only ask, is Lamar Jackson worth his contract? After 5 games, bro, where they won 3 of them. And the latest loss was one of these fluky AFC North games. So in my opinion, when that question came up in the production meeting, somebody with some sense should have shot that crap down. But not only did it get through, not only did they ask the question, but both Shannon and Stephen A said, nah, he's not worth it. Now, I want to make the point that it was ridiculous then. Like, in that present moment, it was already egregious. But it's aged like only a bad Lamar Jackson take can. Bad Lamar takes is always extra bad. But now a couple months later, we can step back and see that every quarterback who signed a big contract this offseason, they all had disappointing years by their own standards, and Lamar's the only one who delivered on his value. Now look, the Jays is coming back, bro. That's Joey, Jalen, and Justin. They've been hurt all year, but look, Joey coming back for the division. But to this point, Lamar Jackson's been the only quarterback who signed a deal in 2023 and has delivered on the contract. And for whatever reason, this is how Lamar Jackson takes work. Like I keep saying, a bad Lamar take is always extra bad. Because if you did a multiple choice test on every quarterback who signed a big deal this year and you ask who's not worth the contract, you could make an argument for 6 out of 7 dudes. And it's literally, dog, only 1 wrong answer, and they had an 85% chance to get a passable score. And these cats sit there emphatically confident and pick the one answer that was absolutely wrong. Lamar is an interesting player, bro, because he's so polarizing, despite having one of the coolest personalities in the league. And I think he's polarizing because people had this tendency to confuse their opinions and preferences with facts. A great example is the Fox host who said Lamar shouldn't be MVP because he's, quote, not quarterbacky enough. A lot of people have been really angry about this, and some have come out and accused the host of flat out being racist. And maybe she is, I don't know, but I would have handled that differently, because once you call somebody racist, the conversation stops there. You say they're racist, they say they're not, they start playing victim, and they no longer respond directly. But a wise man named Jackie Chan, or what's his name in the movie, Lee, has some wise words for this.
I like to let people talk who like to talk. It makes it easier to find out how full of they are.
My approach would have been to ask her to define quarterbacky. I mean, exactly, what the hell does quarterbacky mean?
What the hell did you just say?
Then I want to go down the list of all 32 starters and tell me who's quarterbacky and who ain't quarterbacky. Just hit her with that question, then take a step back and watch as she drowns in a pool of her own bullshit. Let's assume quarterbacky means traditional drop back. How many quarterbacks in the league actually play like that? Don't get me wrong, the good QBs are capable and they do it at times. That ain't Patrick Mahomes' primary playing style. That damn sure ain't Josh Allen primary playing style. Who you got? Burrow, Tua, Dak, Cousins. And those guys can do other things, specifically Dak and Burrow, but they primarily play old school quarterback. And that's my personal favorite style, but Let me tell you a secret. That is not the most efficient way to play quarterback these days. The style that's dominated over the past several years are the creators, and that's what Lamar has morphed into. He's a mobile quarterback who came in and was heavy on the run. And obviously he still runs, but he's really morphed his game into more of a creator, more of a second reaction guy, where more times than not he's using that ability to let guys get open and then delivering the ball. But that's if you're watching the game. But the majority of the top quarterbacks in the league, they don't play like Peyton Manning. They don't play like Tom Brady. They don't play like Drew Brees. But are they quarterbacky, or is it just Lamar who doesn't qualify for this term you made up? Let's take a quick break to thank today's video sponsor, SeatGeek. So me and the fellas been thinking about hitting this Ali Sadiq comedy show, and I'll be solving that problem with today's video sponsor. With over 28 million downloads already, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There's more than 70,000 events every day on SeatGeek, including sports, concerts, comedy shows, and more. And with the NFL, NBA, and NHL seasons all going strong, you don't want to miss out. Bro, SeatGeek got your tickets to every single game. It's the perfect time of the year to go and hop on the app. And when you're on the app, bro, remember these 2 rules of thumb. Green's a good deal and red's a bad deal. That's it. If you can remember that, you can use the app. Not to mention, every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee. And SeatGeek's the only site that lets you return tickets ahead of the event using a feature called swaps. And you know I came through for you, man. Use my code FlemLo. That'll get you $20 off of your tickets at SeatGeek. That's $20 off your first purchase with promo code FlemLo. Click the link in the description, bro, and download the app. Shout out to SeatGeek once again for sponsoring today's video. Without further ado, it's time to jump back in. And the funny thing is, I think she stole the term from Joy Taylor and Cowherd, who used to say quarterbackial all the time. But quarterbackial, while it's another made up term, was pretty well defined by the people that was using it. It was a riff off presidential. They like their presidents presidential, quarterbacks quarterbackial. It has to do with your leadership traits, your poise at the podium, and how well you balance that with your competitive edge. I think she maybe heard that term and then twisted it in her mind. Like, I really don't know, bro. It seemed what she's trying to say without being able to articulate is that she prefers a different style of quarterback, and that's cool. You can prefer whatever style you want as long as you can separate your preference from fact. Just because you prefer this don't mean it's the best. And because this ain't your favorite style don't mean you gotta sit there and tear it down. The fact that it's just preference is in her statement. She says, I like my. Listen to the words. And I don't just mean this opinion. All sports takes our opinion. I mean, 90% of this video is just my opinion. But in her case, it's an opinion that's not based on anything other than what she likes and what she prefers. Bad Lamar Jackson takes are always extra bad. But I've spoken in videos about how one of my favorite things about today's league is the fact that we have so many different styles of quarterback. What's the quote? They say variety is the spice of life, you know? But despite whatever style is your favorite to watch, every QB's goal is exactly the same. Move the damn football down the damn field to help put points on the board as efficiently as you can. For some, the best way to do that is to get outside the pocket more. For others, their strength is hitting the back foot and playing on time. Others run more, but they all use a combination of those things to do the same job. You see what I'm trying to say? I don't care if you run it. I don't care if you dink and dunk it. I don't care if you take 50-yard shots down the field. Of course, all these things affect the way your offense runs, the way your defense has to play. Now it's up to the organization to build a team to fit your strengths. And that's the team building chess match that makes the league fun. But can you move the ball efficiently and consistently? Meaning you can do it without a crazy number of turnovers. And consistency meaning that, like Miles Morales, y'all know what I'm about to say?
You're doing it on command!
So if that ain't what quarterbacking means, the word is irrelevant. But let's be honest, dog. You already knew that. The wild Lamar takes go all the way back to the draft, when Bill Polian seemed to be grasping at straws to explain why this kid was no good. He won the Heisman, didn't matter. Pro style offense didn't matter. He said a few crazy things like Lamar should switch to wide receiver. But the thing that got me was when he said the man was too short. For me, that's the one. Because you can have an opinion on whether or not he was going to translate to the league. That's fine. But saying he's too short when the man is 6'3" made me feel like we was living in a real life spoof. Like instead of scary movie, we watching football movie, where some analysts was so married to their stereotypes that they would warp reality before challenging their own bias. I actually had a pretty damn good take on this 6 years ago, and I cleaned up the audio and re-uploaded it on my Clips channel, which is called FlemLo Remastered. I just launched it. Like I said, it's a Clips channel like podcasts do, where I'm dropping some of my old takes, man, some of my old stories, and I'm cleaning up the audio where need be so it sounds a little better. But if you missed some of the old stuff, man, maybe check it out. I'll put a link up on the screen at the end of this video. And I laugh because, okay, maybe he misspoke. Maybe this first take episode never really aired. Maybe Brady Papinga didn't call this man a poor man's Taysom Hill. But all of these things happen. And Lamar Jackson is now uniquely positioned to shut down each and every one of these narratives. If he wins his second MVP, and he's currently leading in the Vegas odds to do exactly that. 2 MVPs at 26, gonna be a rough day for Lamar critics. But then comes the time. Them NFL playoffs, where every Lamar critic gonna have that magnifying glass. And that's fair. Every quarterback gotta do it in the playoffs. So if he don't and folks are critical, look, that's fair. That's the standard to which all great quarterbacks are held. Herbert hasn't done it, and I like Herbert, but he's gotten way too much credit for not getting it done in the playoffs and blowing that damn lead. And I said this in the last one, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but bro, if that was Lamar Jackson, oh my God. Do you understand the hailstorm of criticism he would get? He's gotten worse treatment in the media after his receivers dropped 8 passes than Herbert got for blowing a 28-point lead in the playoffs. And then people blame the defense like they didn't have 4 interceptions in the first half of the game. If you Justin Herbert, you gotta put that game away, and I will hold Lamar to the exact same standard. But the Lamar playoff narrative is the only narrative that's left for this man to conquer. The last 2 years, he hasn't had the chance thanks to the injuries, but now the ball's finally rolled in his direction. Burrow's hurt, Bengals are out, Chiefs are having a down year, and we all just saw what happened to the Dolphins. I think their biggest threat in the AFC is just the AFC North teams, because in AFC North games, weird things just happen. And the Browns are really good, and the Steelers find a way. My Bengals are out this year, but last year in the playoffs, Lamar was hurt. I ain't give a damn. I was happy with the win, so I expect them to feel the exact same way. On top of that, we've seen what he's done to the NFC. When the Lions was number 1, he completely embarrassed them. 49ers came to town, completely embarrassed them. So we know this team is capable of being dominant. So that's where the pressure swings back onto Lamar. You got the talent, you got the team, barring more injuries. So I agree with that one. He needs to make a deep run in the playoffs. But bro, he's got a shot to hit for the quarterback cycle. He got the contract, check, win MVP, currently favored, and he's got a chance to get the deep playoff run monkey off his back. Bro, if he win a Super Bowl, he will kill every narrative. Every critic will have to admit how bad they takes were. Or they'll move the goalpost and drop a new bad take that becomes Apex Predator in a sea of bad takes.